Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch have signed a lot of free agents over the last 6 years. We're only 5 games into the Mooney Ward experience, but is he the best free agent signing of the Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch era?
I think you have to say yes. And again, small sample size, but I mean, his main competition is either Kyle Juszczyk, a fullback, or Weston Richburg, maybe. I mean, Richburg played pretty well, but he got hurt. And the thing is, Ward being a corner is more valuable than those two players. Even though Kyle Juszczyk has been fantastic for the 49ers, he's still a fullback. And so when you look at what Ward has done, how well he has done it, leading the NFL right now in pass breakups with 7 in 5 weeks, just absolutely stabilizing a real area of need for the 49ers, who play in a division, as everybody knows, with Cooper Kupp and DeAndre Hopkins, when he comes back, and DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. You need to have a lockdown corner. And right now, through 5 games, Mooney Ward looks exactly like that.
Yeah, I'd 100% agree with that, right? We're through 5 games. I wonder what we would have said if you asked me 5 games after Quan Alexander was signed. Is he the best free agent signing? I would not have said that about Jerick McKinnon. Unfortunately, it took him a long time to reach playing 5 games with the 49ers. Weston Richburg, his first year, he battled that torn quad. He was battling it the entire season. He then got surgery and came back and played week 1 of 2019. But 2018, Weston Richburg would be questionable, and then he'll play on game day, just battle. And so he was a good signing, right? But there was that injury concern. I think I would go as far as to say that he is the best free agent signing. The first things foremost is the thing that you said, right? Premium position. He plays corner. The position is inherently more valuable than a fullback, than a weak side off-ball linebacker. It's inherently more valuable than a center, even in this offense where the center is valuable. And then the second thing I would go to is he's outperformed his contract, which I wouldn't say that about any other Niners free agent signing, right? Quan Alexander, even though when you really dug into the numbers, he wasn't the most highest paid linebacker. When he got signed, he got a lot more money than a lot of other guys who he was worse than. Same thing with Richburg to an extent. I thought he was kind of market value. Jet McKinnon definitely was an overpay. You go down the list, you could definitely say that. It's free agency. You overpay. Mooney Ward was not an overpay. In fact, if you look at that contract and you look at how he's played as a number 1 corner, and the Niners do treat him as a number 1 corner, right? They put him on press man on DJ Moore and say, lock up DJ Moore, 10 times a game on the outside. Do that. That's what we're paying you to do. And he's been doing that. He played well against Metcalf. He played well against Lockett. He had a very good game week 1. He played very well against Denver. He played very well against Cortland Sutton. He is getting better too. I think that's the most intriguing thing. And then he brings every physical attribute to the position. He's very composed playing the ball in the air. Yes. Niners fans would know this because we had a guy, remember, Chris Culliver used to be great at staying in phase. And then the ball's in the air. It's Culliver and the receiver. It's a 50-50 ball, and Culliver used to just lose his composure and lose himself. Mooney Ward is fantastic at just being composed, playing through the hands of the receiver, making sure he knocks that pass away late. He does it with such class and composure. And then he's getting even better because he's 26 years old and he's a really good athlete. I think his athleticism is underrated. I mean, he's very big. He's a long corner, and he's a bigger corner than I think he gets credit for. But he moves a little bit more like a little guy. He moves really, really well. And I think when you put all of that together, you talk about premium position, outperforming his contract already. To me, this is the best free agent signing of the Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch era. And to me, this is the first time they've hit a home run where they've nailed and they've gotten one of their linchpin defensive pieces in free agency. They've drafted Nick Bosa. They've drafted Fred Warner. Another regime drafted Eric Armstead. But here's their signing.
He's the man. And it's not easy to do in free agency no matter who you sign, because all these guys have warts in free agents. They don't hit the open market unless seemingly there's a problem. And that was something that stuck in my head before the year, because all the numbers, everything you read about Mooney Ward was like, this guy is awesome. And I kept thinking, what the hell are the Chiefs doing letting this guy go? And maybe it's just with Mahomes' big deal there. They just couldn't afford to sign him. But look at it this way. If Mooney Ward was going to hit the market right now, would he get more than the 49ers gave him or less? I think the answer is pretty obvious. He would get much more.
Yeah. He would. I think today, if Mooney Ward went to the open market, he would get near the contract of what I mean, he doesn't have the accolades, so the numbers may not stack up the same way, but I think he would be touching that JC Jackson $18 million a year.
Yes.
And you brought up the Chiefs, right? They gave kind of a cheaper deal to a safety in Justin Reed. They gave him around 3 years, $30 million instead of playing Charvarius Ward 3 years, 45, which to me, corner versus safety makes sense. Again, it could be the Mahomes deal. But that's the point I think about signing a corner in free agency, right? In my lifetime, the corners that have gotten hype in free agency that aren't the Hall of Famers don't really pan out. Tremaine Johnson, remember the hype?
Yes.
Tremaine Johnson never panned out. And you can go down the list with corners like that. JC Jackson this year. And my thing with corners always is if you have that special number one corner that you want to pay, he never hits free agency because you know that how hard it is to get that special of an athlete. And Ward was kind of under the radar too because the numbers indicated that he played really well. The Chiefs defense put him in a lot of tough spots where he had to pay man coverage, right? And so that led to him also having the occasional game where Jamar Chase has his way with him. And it happens if you have to play press man with Jamar Chase the entire game. That's what's going to happen. It's the reality of the situation. He's maybe the best receiver in the NFL. And so you talk about that. For him to actually come in here and immediately outperform expectations and all of that, it's surprising. It is not commonplace in the NFL. I think that needs to be reiterated too, and it's fantastic.
Yes. And you know what? Credit to D'Amico Ryans also for getting this guy, knowing exactly how to use him, putting him in positions to succeed, and putting him in positions to help the rest of the defense, right? You talked about it. Sometimes they're like, hey, you're on an island. Go do your thing. Well, that frees up the rest of the defense. Hufanga to maybe do some stuff from the safety position, do some weird twist up front to free up a defensive lineman. Nothing happens in a vacuum. So I think D'Amico deserves credit too, because he is getting absolutely the most you could possibly get out of this defense.
Right. And they're able to disguise so much too, right? Because last year they did disguise very well because D'Amico Ryans is really good at late safety rotations, who they blitz, who they don't. They put 8 on the line of scrimmage every third down to make it tough on the quarterback on who's coming, who isn't. They usually rush 4, but you don't know which 4 are coming. So they do a phenomenal job from that standpoint. And just to expand on that a little bit more, what he's given them is this is the first corner the Niners can truly play press man with since the Jason Verrett was healthy in 2020. Emmanuel Mosley's an off-ball corner. He's also been pressing much better this year, but that's not really been his game. Charvarius Ward's game is at the line of scrimmage, me and you, mano y mano, let's do this thing. And unlocking that has given this defense a different element of disguise. It's allowed them to play man more in high leverage situations as well. It's very exciting.
Yeah, I thought Kyle Posey had a good tweet. He said if it was 3rd and 86, D'Amico Ryans would still blitz. And part of the reason he's able to do that is because of guys like Ward.
Right. And, of course, the entire secondary. Unfortunately, Emmanuel Mosley got hurt. We will touch on the injuries. But, yeah, Mooney Ward has been outstanding for the Niners. And I think we both agree he's the best free agent signing of the Shanahan-Lynch era.
Yep, I would agree with you there. And hopefully there's more to come. Hopefully they get on a roll now. We've had some duds. Let's get going.